In this section, we're going to learn the basic concepts of reinforcement learning, and from them, we're going to develop a general template common to all control tasks. From this template, in the following sections, we'll be able to develop methods to deal with these tasks. To begin with, we are going to examine 5 elements that we find in all control tasks. And we're going to see them through the examples that we saw in the previous section: the game of chess, controlling a mechanical arm, and controlling a video game character. All 3 are examples of control tasks in which the appropriate actions must be taken at each moment in time to solve a certain task. The first element common to all control tasks is the state at a moment in time. The state is all the relevant information that describes in which situation the task environment is currently in. In the case of chess, the state of the game consists of the location of the pieces on the board and the remaining time. In the case of the robotic arm, the state is the position of the object to be manipulated and the rotation of the arm joints. In the case of the Pac-Man video game, the state is the position of our avatar, the position of the yellow pills, and the position of the ghost in the maze. The state is always linked to a moment in time. That is, we refer to the state at time t. The next element that we find in all control tasks are the actions that are carried out during the task. The actions are the moves that the player can perform at every moment in time. In the case of the mechanical arm, the actions consist of modifying the rotation of the joints to pick up and move the object. In the case of Pac-Man, the actions consist of the buttons the player presses on the controller to move the avatar. Actions are also tied to a moment in time, and they are chosen based on the state of the task. By that, we mean that the agent observes the state, and based on the characteristics of the state in which the task finds itself, it will take some actions or others. Third, when working with a control task, we need some mechanism that informs the agent about the effectiveness of its decision-making. That mechanism is the rewards. A reward is a numerical value that the agent receives after carrying out an action, and it determines the immediate effect of having carried out that action. In chess, the goal is to win the game. Therefore, when the player carries out a move that checkmates the opponent, the task must give it a positive reward. When it carries out a move after which the opponent will checkmate it, the task should give it a negative reward. And if the move doesn't end the game, the reward should be 0. In the case of the robotic arm, the reward should be 0 until the robot manages to move the object correctly. And only then, upon reaching its goal, should it receive a positive reward from the environment. Finally, in the Pac-Man game, every time that the agent eats a yellow pill, it should be rewarded positively. These rewards are a representation of the task goals in the form of feedback. So the greater the rewards we get, the better we are achieving the tasks of the goal. The fourth element common to all control tasks is the agent. The agent is the entity that will participate in the task by observing its state and carrying out actions at each moment in time. In all 3 cases, the agent can be a human being who observes the state of the task with his eyes and takes the necessary actions based on it. But since this is a course on reinforcement learning, our agents will always be the algorithms that carry out these actions. Finally, the last element is the environment, which comprises all of the aspects of the task that the agent doesn't control 100%. For example, in the case of chess, the remaining time is part of the environment, because the agent cannot decide to increase it arbitrarily. Also, the opponent's moves are part of the environment, since the agent does not control which moves its opponent makes. In the case of the robotic arm, all physical aspects are part of the environment. For example, the agent cannot modify the force of gravity, nor the friction of objects. In the case of Pac-Man, the movement of the enemies are part of the environment, as well as the shape of the maze and the location of the pills. If you think again about the state of the task, it can be seen as a representation of the relevant aspects of the environment for decision making.